Welcome back to our latest Hoopcast. We are going to talk a little bit about Florida, Kentucky, as well as look forward to the SEC tournament. And Kevin, it seems like we've been doing a lot of these things lately with the Gators losing.
Yes, it certainly is. March has not been kind, certainly, to Florida, and they go to Rupp Arena, and you start out 10-2. Things are looking very promising. But as soon as Perry Stevenson came into the game, Kentucky came to life. He came off the bench at about that 3-minute mark into the game and really played well and provided some inside scoring that they needed and gave them a lift. And, Florida, fought back from the 16-point deficit in the second half, but just really didn't have enough.
Yeah, once the side bank went in and then Derek Jasper also hit that one where he just threw it up there, you kind of knew it wasn't going to be their day. But the Gators did make a comeback again. There's signs again that they're starting to get it, starting to understand, but in the end, they're not NCAA worthy as we sit here today. There's been a lot of debate, Kevin, as to what they need in the SEC tournament to get in. Do you think it's 2 or 3 wins?
I think it's 3. I think if they get to the SEC tournament finals, I think you can talk about definite. I think if they win 2, then you're leaving it up to the selection committee's whims, and I don't think it's. But I think if they make that run to the SEC tournament finals, you could, probably pencil them in, but that's a huge task considering, this is the first time since 2002 that they've played on Thursday. You're going to be playing, back-to-back days, and you'll immediately have the disadvantage on Friday of playing the extra day and facing teams that are going to be more rested. Yeah,
and especially for a young team. I don't think it bothers them the next day, the second day. What'll bother them is Varnado and Rhodes and whoever else they have to face there. But I think the third day, to get to that day, there are very few teams that can do that and go win back-to-back-to-back and get to that final. And then when you get there, of course, there's not much. I mean, the Arkansas team, I was there when they did it in 2000. It was amazing. But that was a team where they've been playing that hard all year. So.
And we saw South Carolina in 2006, too. And, I mean, they took Florida, to the end in that game. And that was a really ugly, it was a 49-47 affair with Ronaldo Bachman getting blocked at the buzzer. And that turned out to actually be a pretty good South Carolina team with Bachman and Terrence Kinsey going to the NBA.
Yes.
But, that was the last time anyone's really made a serious run at it.
A lot of streaks have ended this year. Florida beating Kentucky ended after 7 straight. Florida going to the NCAA tournament may be ending. And another streak Florida's got on the line, 9 straight SEC tournament wins. That's going to be tough to keep that one going as well. But they've owned the SEC tournament the last few years. Not Catlanta anymore. You can't call it that. So maybe this will be where they make their mark.
Yeah, and even since 2004, that 2003-2004 season, they reached the finals. So really, since 2004, they've reached the finals every year and won 3 and made the finals in the other. So they have played very well in Atlanta, but I think this is a different set of circumstances. You got a completely new team. Every year during those teams, you had some kind of anchor like a Matt Walsh, a David Lee, a Roberson, and then of course later on with Noah Horford and Brewer and those guys. Now you don't really have that. You don't have that experience, and I mean it could very easily be one and done because Alabama's coming off a big win against Vanderbilt, and they're a team that is improved from early in the season when Florida beat them.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much they've improved. They seem to have different pieces, different things happening. Alonzo G hasn't improved. That was like the highlight of his season against Florida. But for people to look and say, well, Florida beat them at home. Florida beat them in Tuscaloosa, so certainly they'll win this first-round game. It's going to be a tough game. I mean, look, I'm not a Gottfried fan. You know that. I don't think he's a great coach. But the bottom line is Florida, talent-wise, I think Alabama's got more talent than Florida going into this game.
Yeah, and Hendricks is a guy that gave Murray Spates a lot of problems in the first meeting and really missed a bunch of free throws in that game. If he would have made, it would have definitely been a much closer outcome. But I think definitely with, the one thing Alabama doesn't do well is they don't play very good defense. And Florida has faced a bunch of teams that are very, tough defensive teams. Tennessee can turn it on defensively in spurts, but certainly we saw in Kentucky and Mississippi State 2 very good defensive teams. So I think that this could be a game where Florida gets scoring, and it's just going to be a question of their commitment on the defensive end.
Yeah, it's funny because Kentucky is a very good defensive team, and Florida didn't have any trouble getting shots off, open shots against them. Did a good job there. You may see kind of a crazy offensive game against Alabama. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how long Florida's at the tournament. We'll see how long you're at the tournament, Kevin, because you're going home when Florida loses, hopefully you'll be there till Sunday, because let's face it, I want to go to the NCAA tournament. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself in March if we don't get to go.
Well, the first things first is I have to get my bags back from Kentucky, because that was a disaster travel day on Saturday with all the flights being delayed, and my bags are still somewhere in cyberspace. So hopefully if I can get my bags back by Wednesday, I'll at least have something to pack, or some clothes left over.
That would help. Clothes are important when you're going to Atlanta. But I will say this, it's one of my favorite events in sports, the SEC tournament. Kevin, on that Thursday and Friday when you've got 8 games and you're just sitting there digging all the basketball. Even in a league that's down a little bit this year, it's still 8 basketball games, and a lot of them are going to come down the wire, and we'll be doing a lot of different stuff from there, and I think we'll have it's really a lot of fun to be there.
There should be a lot of Kentucky fans, but I think it'll also be interesting to see, because Knoxville's only a few hours away.
Yeah.
How does Tennessee travel? That's going to be pretty interesting too.
They've traveled pretty decently.
Arkansas has always traveled fairly well, so it'll be interesting to see if and we'll see if Florida musters a little bit of support there. I don't know.
Won't be much.
I don't know if there will be much, but
it'll revert back to like 02, 03, that kind of crowd, I think, for Florida.
Where you have like a few pockets.
Yeah,
but maybe
if family.
If they gain momentum,
Jeremy.
If they gain momentum, maybe they'll get a few. But it's always interesting when you take a look at that arena and how it fills up, especially with the Kentucky fans. It's unreal.
No question about it. And of course, from Atlanta, Kevin and I will be giving you a lot of different things. Some blogs and some certainly coverage of all the games, not just the ones Florida's playing in, as well as anything, some hoopcasts from up there. We'll be doing those, so we'll be covering the heck out of that tournament, no matter whether Florida stays in it long or not. If they do, just makes it that much more intriguing. And don't forget to go online and check out our top 75 players in SEC history. We put together an all-star panel. They've named them. The slideshow that Jeff Barless has done is terrific. I think you guys will enjoy that as well. 75 best players in SEC history. That's online at Gatorsports.com.
We've already seen a few Florida guys too in the first 25.
I was surprised. I voted for Mike, and I voted for Udonis.
Corey Brewer is on there.
I think Billy will tell you Udonis should be higher. I think he's about right about where he should be. But there's already been 3 guys in there. I can tell you there's 4 more to come. So keep an eye out for those. And who's going to be number 1? You'll never guess. Well, you might. That's going to do it for today's Hoopcast. We'll be back with you live in Atlanta. Well, the Hoopcast will technically be live, but we'll be alive. We hope so. Kevin may even have clothes on.
Yeah, hopefully I will. That's the whole.
We'll have to wait and see. It could be interesting. Until then, Pat Dooley and Kevin Brockway saying so long from the Sunshine State.